All right, so welcome to the Peach Basket, the first official episode. My name is Joel, and I'm going to be one of your hosts. And if you want to introduce yourself, man to my right.
I'm not really on your right. I'm more in front of you, but this is Steve.
Okay, and Steve's currently opening a bag of Reese Minis because we wanted to make sure for our first episode we had some snacks.
I'm going to turn away from the mic while I'm eating them just to be respectful of our audience.
Sounds good. And the man to my left, who is also part of the show today. You want to introduce yourself, fella?
Hello, I am Geoff.
Geoff, tell me, how old are you?
I am 29.
There you go. Get a little closer to the mic there.
Hello.
There he is. Hey, Geoff. So, we're all three of us big basketball fans, and we decided to start this podcast. We're going to be talking about all things basketball, mostly NBA chat and gossip, news, updates. As you all know, the NBA is currently in the off-season still. When's the season starting there, Steve?
It's mid-October, I think 17th maybe. It started a little earlier last year. It used to be around the end of the October, and now it's close to the middle. I'll check exactly what day, just a sec.
Yes. While Steven's finding...
14th or something? 16th?
The 14th?
I don't know. I think it's an even number.
I hope so. So obviously, because the season hasn't started, we don't have a lot to talk about, but we are going to talk about some of the different things that have been
16th.
Going on. The
Yeah,
16th.
October 16th is when it starts. I said the 17th. I've already done that.
Yeah. Well, we'd restart, but this is live. We're in front of an audience. No, I'm kidding about that. It's my first joke of the day.
You're cut off after 3.
Yeah, we each get 3 jokes per episode.
That didn't count as a joke.
Didn't? Because it wasn't funny, or because you're a controlling fool?
No, it was a serious thing I said. And if it wasn't serious, then we don't have to hold ourselves to it anyway.
I really wish you guys could see, because really, Steven is eating many different snacks right now. So if it sounds like he's not next to the mic, it's because every time I talk to him, he's trying to get to the mic after eating some form of snack.
That's true.
Okay. So if you want to bring up we came up with some things that we wanted to talk about, that we're going to see what everyone thinks. So we all live on the East Coast. Now, we don't want to just focus on East Coast basketball, but we do want to talk a little bit about what's going on right now. So let's maybe start by, I'm a Raptors fan personally, and I think our friend Geoff here is also.
Correct.
He's a very talkative guy. And Steven is more of a...
Yeah, I'm more of a Boston fan. I mean, I like the Raptors. I'm Canadian, so I kind of have to support them a little bit. I watch most of their games, but Boston's really... Once they meet each other in the Eastern Conference Finals, I think I'll be pulling for Boston.
Fair enough. And that's okay. Now, maybe we'll go around, obviously, preseason, but who's kind of the front runner, do you think, right now in the East?
Got to go with Boston still.
Okay. That's fair.
I think both of you should go with Boston as well, whether you like the Raptors or not. But
yeah, I mean, they're a strong team.
Depends on what Kawhi we see.
Yeah, what? Sorry? What Kawhi?
Oh, we're not allowed to laugh, remember?
Oh, sorry, yeah. I think the statement was, it depends on what Kawhi we see. So, obviously, Kawhi Leonard to the Raptors. Big news over the offseason. I know a lot of people were not sure. Does he want to be there? Is he going to be able to be healthy? How will that impact the game? So what do you think, Geoff? If he's healthy, what's going to go on
If he's
there?
healthy and he's playing, then they're one of the top teams in the East, for sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
He's the best player in the East for sure, if he's healthy.
Well,
I'm not sure he is healthy, but
maybe a Tentacampo.
Tentacampo's good. I don't know if he's Leonard 2 years ago.
So that was something we were going to talk about. So Steven's pick, Boston. I'm going to say the Raptors because I think with a healthy Kawhi, they can be the best in the East. They were the best in the East last year with DeRozan, and Kawhi is a better player when he's healthy, for sure.
The best record, but Boston had Gordon Hayward
They
out
did
the whole year. And
yeah, they did what they usually did, and they completely
lost to LeBron.
Yeah, they completely panicked in the postseason.
I'll say the 76ers then.
Yeah?
Just to be different.
Just big Joel and Embiid
they're
fan.
obviously the top 3 favorites. Could be either one of them.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, I don't know who else in the East has much of a team at all. Like I like
Maybe
the
the
Bucks.
The Bucks are probably 4th.
Giannis is good. Middleton's okay. I don't know who they have other than that. Like I'm hoping Thonmaker becomes a good player, but I haven't seen it yet.
What's going to happen, do you think, with Cleveland? I don't know a lot of the news since LeBron's left, but have they retained pretty much the same team?
Other than LeBron, and they also, well, I mean, obviously Kevin Love, he's going to, like, I don't know go back to Minnesota, Kevin Love, but he's going to at least be like a 20-10 guy again because.
So they've still got Mr. Dribble around away from the basket, J.R. Smith.
Yeah, Colin Sexton is their rookie, and a lot of people are hoping he's like a Rookie of the Year candidate. He's like a point guard. He's a little bit taller, and I mean, he's obviously no replacement or even close to a replacement for LeBron, but at least like people have a little bit of hope in him. Other than that, they still have kind of the same old guys they got to surround LeBron, which doesn't really help them for the future.
So we're probably going to see them. You think they'll be at least contenders to be in the playoffs, or is this going to be a year, the first year in a while that they're not going to?
I don't think they'll make the playoffs even in the East.
Yeah. So
they have a chance.
To round off top 5 then in the East. So we've got Boston, the Raptors. I'm not necessarily in this order, but I'm just saying them. Bucks and 76ers. What do you think for top 5?
So that's 4. I'd say Pacers is the other team in there.
Okay.
Obviously, Oladipo had an amazing year last year. Like, they didn't really lose anything trading Paul George for him. Miles Turner kind of had a disappointing year, but he wasn't that healthy. Like, I think he could be a pretty good center, one of the better centers in the East.
Sure, yeah. So that's going to be our 5 for the East. Now, before we talk about
Sorry. Did Jeff think anybody else would be number 5 in the
didn't
East?
have
We kind of all
talking
agreed
stick.
on the first 4.
I don't know. What about like Detroit?
They got Drummond still, of course, but
Reggie Jackson, Ish Smith, Jose Calderon. Ooh, Calderon, old Raptors.
Oh yeah, they have Griffin. Like they traded for him last year, and he didn't play well.
Oh,
but
Griffin.
Yeah,
Mr. hits his head on the backboard. Yeah, we were just watching some highlights. Well, I don't know if you want to call them highlights, but of different players who have hit their head on the backboard while they were in play. So Blake Griffin, I think, has done it a few times. Westbrook did it in the All-Star game one year. A couple dudes hit their heads.
Nobody mentioned the Wizards. Like they could be the number 5 team in the East.
They have Howard now?
You say top 5?
Yeah, they did get Howard in the offseason. Howard did okay for the Charlotte Hornets last year. He obviously wasn't close to what he was in
Wasn't
Orlando,
he working on shooting?
Drummond was
Howard
over
did.
the offseason. Howard might have also done so, but like Drummond was pretty there was a lot of press on it. Like
Sure.
And like I remember watching the USA scrimmages, and everybody was like practicing. You could see him in the background missing a bunch of threes.
Howard or Drummond?
Drummond.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, it's a different league now.
Yeah, sorry, I'm going to take that back. I think the Wizards are the number 5 team in the East, but Pacers
And that
are
replaces
6.
Pacers. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so there you go. That's kind of like a top 5, 6, whatever for the East. Now, quickly, what do you think? Well, I think we're going to talk about this later, but best. Well, you said Boston, so they're going to go to the playoffs, you think?
Yeah, I think
the finals.
I think they could beat the Warriors. I think they're the perfect team to go against the Warriors because their perimeter defense is second to none, and I think that's how you beat them. And also Horford's, unless DeMarcus Cousins somehow becomes healthy, is better than any center they have. So they at least can countermeasure the firepower the Warriors have with their defense. And then Horford is probably a bit of a mismatch for anybody on the team. Like obviously Draymond's a good defender, but Horford's a little tricky.
What a tricky guy. So there you go, the East. Now we can talk about the West, but we can talk about the rest. Should we talk about the West? Top teams? I mean, that's a
top 5 again, or because top 3, like the Warriors, obviously number 1. I think the Rockets would have beaten them last year if Chris Paul didn't get injured, but I think the Warriors have gotten better. I don't think Cousins is going to be healthy soon, but he probably will be before the playoffs.
That will be interesting.
And I think the Rockets got worse, if anything. I think Carmelo doesn't replace the defense Ariza and Bamute had.
Right.
And they don't really need more offense. Like a Melo shot's never going to be better than a defended Harden shot, basically.
Fair enough. But so that's Rockets. So do you think they're still maybe number 2 though?
Oh yeah, definitely still number 2. Not even a question. They might even end up with the best record again because the Warriors might take it easy in the playoffs.
In the season.
In the season. My bad.
Sorry, I heard someone talking from a distance. Okay, Jeff doesn't want to talk into the mic. I think he's a little mic shy. But anyway, okay, so that's 2. That's top 2. Now, obviously, LeBron to the Lakers.
Does that
Interesting.
Number 3? Is that what you're saying?
No, not necessarily. I'm just saying it certainly makes people all of a sudden they're on the radar in some way. Now I know they've been on the radar just because of big baller boy, who I guess had arguably like a pretty lackluster first season.
It was about Kuzma rather than him, even on his own team, who was a 20th pick, something around there.
Right.
And obviously Kuzma's doing well; he's a good scorer, but they used a number 2 pick on the other guy who didn't get he got a lot of press, but for his reality show type stuff, not.
Yeah, it's a little different where you have a player who's had all this hype because his dad's kind of a bit of a special fella, and so either way, so we've got Lonzo, Kuzma, LeBron. Who else would round out? You think they're? I mean, I guess we can look at their starters.
I like KCP a lot. I think actually the one game I went to see in LA last year, they were playing the Spurs, and I think it was the worst game the Spurs played all year. It was about a week after Kawhi went back out. And I think the Spurs got 70 points against the Lakers, but KCP got 6 steals in a row. It was pretty crazy. He impressed me most from their team last year. Obviously the Bronze.
Where's their bring up their roster there? The Lakers did there.
Yeah, they have Rondo. And there's sort of discussion over who's going to start Rondo or Lonzo. But yeah, KCP I think is, other than LeBron, the best player on the team. I think he's better than Kuzma, but I mean, neither of them are great.
So, but that's still, we haven't said whether you think they'll be in the top 5. For the
top 5 for sure. I don't think they're third.
Who's third? Let's who's third?
That's hard because the Spurs, they have DeRozan now, but what else do they have? I think the Timberwolves, they kind of had a lackluster season last year because there was a lot of expectations putting Butler and Towns and Wiggins and Teague and
a lot of good players on that team.
But yeah, I think they'll be number 3.
Timberwolves. I think Geoff.
No, yeah, Timberwolves. Sorry, indecisive.
What do you think, Geoff? Timberwolves?
Yeah, they're pretty good, but it could be a couple other teams too.
Well, let's hear
Maybe the Jazz.
Yeah. What's their roster looking like?
The Jazz. I mean, obviously Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, who you really got to pay attention to, but
for sure,
I think they have a solid team rounding it out.
We didn't really talk about our skill set here. Maybe just quickly, because Steven usually has most of the facts on. Steven's a NBA scientist, certified by the School of Hard Knocks, and so Steven
Favors obviously
who won the. Sorry, I just want to prove your skills. Who won the NBA championship in 1986?
86.
That was the Boston Celtics.
Oh crap!
It's either Boston or LA, obviously, but.
Computer.
Geoff must know.
Who won the NBA championships in 1986?
It's the Boston Celtics, I'm sure.
Boston Celtics won the NBA.
I guess Geoff got it. I would have guessed either Boston or LA. I'm
86 was the big year. The best
I'm
year.
pretty young. I don't actually remember any of the 80s. I wasn't born yet.
Hey, our ages are not important there, Stephen. And actually, let's a quick little fact: Stephen and Geoff are actually siblings.
This is true.
And you just heard me talk to Computer. Computer is technically now Computer's listening to me.
Oh yeah, don't say computer unless you want it to talk.
Right. So we'll call her C for now. Is actually kind of our 4th podcast member. So every once in a while, C is going to make an appearance. We do have a game that we were going to play at some point called Steven versus C. We just had Geoff versus C. I guess, Geoff, you technically got that before C did. I feel weird saying C. Is there comp maybe? Maybe call her comp. Anyway.
We didn't mention the Thunder. Oh, sorry, I didn't want to.
Yeah, we'll get back into the West. But what's your skill set there, Geoff? What do you bring to this podcast? Guy. Oh, so Geoff is a stats guy. Okay, and what would you say is my what do I bring to the table?
I don't know.
You're a pretty big Raptors fan.
Yeah. Okay, so that's fair enough. And I'm also I have a lot of experience in radio broadcasting.
This is true.
Worked with Ryan Seacrest for many years. Don't fact check that. So anyway, back to the West Coast.
Well, actually, looking at the standings there, you can see between 3rd and 9th, there's only 3 wins difference.
Yeah, last year it was pretty close.
You got to explain the visuals because people can't see what we're looking at.
I mean, in the West, there's the top 2 teams, the Warriors and the Rockets, and then could be anyone.
Yeah, we were looking at the ending standings last year. But I agree with that, but I think the Timberwolves were still figuring things out. I think they actually are better than the rest of the pack, and then probably rounding out the top 5.
I mean, the Jazz are another team that could be better, though, right?
I don't think they are. They could be, I guess. But I think it's really Warriors, Rockets, Timberwolves, Thunder, and then Lakers.
I guess obviously the Lakers.
I think Jazz are probably number 6, but I wouldn't have them in my top 5. And the Blazers, I don't know. Like, they'll make the playoffs. I don't think they'll get out of the first round. I think they'll probably be a 7 or 8 seed.
So do you think it's boring, a little boring, that the Warriors are so clearly the kind of front runners in the West?
I think right now, yes, but historically, when we look back in 10 years, I think we'll kind of remember, like, hey, remember when, like, Durant and Curry and Clay and Draymond and now Cousins are all on the same team? Like, that was, like, crazy basketball team. I'm glad I got to watch that. Like,
true.
I feel like 10 years down the line, we'll look at it fondly, but right now, I do kind of feel like we saw a few repeats, like the last 3 finals. It's going to be different this year because LeBron's in the same conference as the Warriors, so...
Oh, yeah.
Somebody else in our
LeBron and Lonzo.
And, like, I'd be happy watching Raptors or even the 76ers. Like, I think this next season I'm pretty excited for.
Yeah, I think, honestly, I'm more excited for this season of basketball than I ever have been. Maybe it's just because I watch more now. But
last year, I did believe, before the Paul injury, that the Rockets could beat the Warriors. Like, that was the first time in a couple years that I thought the Warriors wouldn't make the Western Conference, like, no questions asked. I thought the Rockets could beat them, like, especially when the Rockets and the Celtics were both up 3-2. I'm just like, one of these teams could actually make the finals. I mean, they didn't, but it wasn't impossible.
Well, I would like to see an upset. I'd love to see one of the teams that are not projected to do well, maybe do well. I'm always kind of pulling for an underdog, but I mean, in the West, there's not much of a chance.
The Nuggets, like, maybe could surprise somebody and make the playoffs. I don't think they could.
Well, no, I'm more thinking, I'm thinking like the top teams, maybe just someone beating the Warriors. That's kind of, I wouldn't mind, but, you know, like you said, maybe it's a team that we get to watch them win, and good for them. Let's grab our little itinerary. Because we're talking too long about these things.
Oh, right. We were going to set a timer on these topics, and I dropped the ball on that one.
Oh, nice basketball pun there. You only get 3 of those per show as well. 3 jokes, 3 puns, and partridge and pear tree. Yeah. So there we go. That's kind of the East, the West. Did we do a top 5 for the West? We did, basically, right?
It says Duke. I thought it said Drake when I first glanced at it. Like, we're talking about Drake, are we?
Yeah, supposedly Duke has signed Drake.
I gave my top 5. It was Warriors, Rockets. I said Timberwolves, but I think maybe Thunder and then Timberwolves. Russell Westbrook just came off an injury, so I guess Timberwolves then Thunder.
Sure.
Or he just had surgery, rather. And then Lakers, number 5, is who I think. But the teams you guys mentioned, the Jazz, they're an okay team. The Trailblazers, I'm just not sure. Like, Damian Lillard is good. I don't see him getting better. Same with McCollum. I don't know who else they have. I mean, I know who else they have, but...
Well, let's be honest here. Yeah, you're gonna look. So, let's see. Duke. Let's quickly talk about what's going on there because I mean, obviously, so we're Canadian too. I don't know if I mentioned that. Thus our name. I guess I'm not going to go too much into the name of our podcast, but anyway, if you know, you know. If you don't know, now you know. But as a Canadian, there's some interesting stuff with Duke for Canadians. RJ Barrett. Yes. But there's also this kind of super crazy athletic fella who seems to be, maybe where's he going to fit if he goes NBA because he's got kind of a weird body. So anyway, talk about him a little bit. Who am I talking about? Yeah, Zion Williamson.
I mean, also you should mention Cam Reddish. He's also a top 4 prospect in the draft next year, and they have basically the 3 best players in the NCAA are on this one team. I'm not a huge NCAA fan. I sort of am an NCAA fan because I'm an NBA fan, because I'll watch whoever the prospects are, and then I'll probably watch the Final Four.
Right.
But I'm by no means like an NCAA buff. But yeah, Zion, it's crazy watching him, but I'm not sure how well what he is translates. He's going to be the 2nd heaviest player in the NBA, and he's 6'6". He can't really shoot. Like, I'm hoping maybe he'll get better at that, but like he's not really a 3-point shooter by any means. He just gets to the basket, and like he's benefited from playing against high school players who he's way bigger than. Like, he's bigger than everybody.
Much stronger.
Bigger than NBA players too, but like it's at least a comparison. Like, he's
he'll definitely, I mean, no doubt have more trouble in the NBA. But how do you think Duke's going to have like a crazy? I mean, obviously,
they're all elimination games, like in March Madness. I don't think it's a sure thing they'll win the March Madness, but I think they'll be the best. They have the best chance out of everybody.
And Duke's always been a good team anyway. It's not like this all of a sudden changes things for Duke. They've always been a pretty, like one of the front runner teams.
But they haven't really been like a one and done team. They've always had like good players who play there for 3 or 4 years. I mean, obviously Kyrie Irving is a good player, but
what do you think, Geoff, about this Duke team?
They seem pretty good.
Yep. Did you see the dunk from the free throw line, Zion Williamson?
Yeah, I think I did. And that was when there was a video. They both tried it, and Barrett missed, and then Williamson got it.
Didn't Barrett miss it? I thought he eventually maybe made
I think,
it.
he might have tried again and made it. But,
maybe.
I mean, Barrett also isn't 285 pounds.
It did impress me that Zion, because I've seen a lot of free throw dunks, it looked like he actually dunked from almost where you could take a free throw shot from. So, like, almost behind the line. He might have had his toe, like, on the line, but a lot of the free throw dunks you see are like a foot, almost like a full, like, on the line or in front of the line. So it looked like he actually did a true free throw line dunk.
I think he'll be a good NBA player. Sorry, I kind of just like ignore what you just said, but
yeah,
I don't think he'll be a great NBA player. Like I couldn't see him. He's not going to be LeBron James. Like Julius
still
Randle,
get taller?
Like
can he still get taller?
I think he could. Like I think some people grow until their early 20s, but
like was it Durant? No, who was it that
Giannis was
Giannis
6'9" or something when he got in the league. Now he's 6'11" or 7 feet.
Right, so it is possible.
But Giannis was also. Is that a bouncing noise because he jumps high?
Yeah,
but yeah, he was also 18
when
he got into the league because, I don't know, he played overseas and got in a little younger.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm just sure, like, I don't know age-wise, like, how old is Zion?
He's
just out of high school.
So,
yeah.
like, he'd be
18,
I think.
17, 18.
I can Google it.
No, they're going to have to get him some, what do they call them? Shoes that make you taller. Not high heels.
It's listed 6'7".
Hey, it says he's 6'7",
I said 6'6". I kind of heard both. 6'7" is probably the shoes.
Do you want to ask our friend?
Well, it's going to grab it from Google anyway. So
yeah, but it's always fun to interact with.
All right, go ahead.
Computer, how tall is Zion Williamson?
Zion Williamson's height is 6 feet and 6 inches.
Oh, okay.
198 centimeters.
So computer says 6'6", even though right now we're looking on Google and it says 6'7".
He could still be growing. He's 18 years old, so maybe that's a more recent thing we're seeing, or maybe it's just with shoes on. But he's around that height. That's obviously not an NBA power forward or center traditionally.
Right.
But that's really the only position he could play with his skill set.
But set a record for combine as well for jump height. Did he not?
I don't think he set a record, but I think he had the highest this year.
Oh, this year, okay. Still impressive. So that's Duke. Any other NCAA stuff we know about?
Not really. Like, that's really
we'll keep maybe once March Madness happens, we'll do a special episode for that. Anything you want to add to that, Geoff?
Nope.
I didn't think so. I feel like your foot rubbing on the cable is making a noise. Just a silly guy. Okay, moving on. Do you think there's going to be any? Do you think there's any? Do you think there's any?
Stop it.
Do you think there will be any surprise teams? Like teams where all of a sudden, whoa, like their record is really good and they're really doing well. Is this going to happen? Have you seen this? Have you heard of this?
I always want Davis to have a healthy season and the Pelicans to have a great year.
Hasn't happened yet.
Not really, no. And they've lost Cousins, of course. I mean, he was out for some of the season anyway.
Yeah, it was weird when he went to the Pelicans. Everyone was like, ooh, Boogie in the brow, it's going to be crazy. And then they didn't really seem to gel all that great.
Well, they played half a season and they got injured too. Or wait, no, it's season 2 half seasons, I guess. They lost their... they lost Rondo. They still have Drew Holiday, who, when he's healthy, is a pretty good point guard. They got Jahlil Okafor and Julius Randle. Julius Randle is a guy who's actually compared to Zion, where like everybody's like, oh, he's so strong and big, but like when he got to the NBA, he kind of fizzled out because he can't really shoot threes. I mean, I'm hoping he has a good season, but yeah, I like to see the Pelicans do well. I don't know if I'd say I think they will, but that's a team I'm kind of.
Geoff, you got a team that you think would be cool to see just kind of rise up and.
That I would like to see good,
or I don't know that you think might. Yeah.
I don't know.
From the gut, just shoot,
I like
shoot from the hip, Geoff.
Denver Nuggets.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, we were just talking about the draft actually earlier before we started the show. we do talk about basketball even when we're not recording us talking about basketball. And we were talking about, was it the Mavericks that...
the Hawks and Mavericks basically traded their picks. The Hawks had the chance to get Luka Doncic. They traded him for Trae Young. And
right.
Like, maybe they'll regret that because they had a chance to get, like, the top-rated point guard, or I don't know if he's a point guard or a 2 or a 3.
They traded him for a guy that plays in a European league?
Well, they traded him for Trae Young, Luka Doncic.
Oh, right,
yeah.
And what were you saying? Sorry, Jeff was saying earlier about being NBA ready. You there, Jeff?
Yeah.
Jeff's outside smoking a cigar. Just a second. Come on in, Jeff. Yeah, you feel like he's more NBA ready?
Well, he's supposed to be. He was one of the best players in Europe for the last few years, so...
Is this an advantage?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
He was actually playing in a pro league.
Was Bargnani one of the top players in Europe?
Yeah, but he also
I just don't know about the competition level.
For anyone watching that isn't Canadian, might not know that he also sold some pretty great pasta sauce when he played for the Raptors.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be a bad player. I don't think EuroLeague prepares you for the athleticism of the NBA. I think he'll be slow compared to other point guards.
Mm-hmm.
I think he has a good skill set and has more experience than a lot of his peers, but I don't necessarily see him being the rookie of the year.
I gotcha. Let's go back to our cheat sheet here and see what we. So that's surprise teams for me. I don't know if I have an answer to that question. I guess I just
throw a team name out there.
I just want to see them all do well. I just want to see them play well. I just don't want to see the Warriors do well, but that's not likely to happen. Not that I don't like the Warriors. I just, like I said, I find it boring to have such a powerhouse team. The West was already, dominant usually over the East, and it is cool though to see.
Oh, I put my Reese's cups on that, and now they've melted. I'm gonna throw them in the freezer.
All right then. So we lost Steven because his Reese's cups. We definitely, before we started this podcast, I think, we love basketball, but I feel like our snacks were a little more important than our basketball conversation here. I'm eating what is this? Hershey Reese's? No. That's not a thing.
There actually are Hershey Reese's.
Oh, are there? Okay. Anyway, this is just whole. This is almonds with chocolate. The game of the food of champions. Sponsor. I think they sponsor champions. So there we go. MVP this year. MVP.
LeBron James.
Or as Sacha Baron Cohen would say, MP3. Does
Yeah.
anyone remember that? Does anyone hear of this?
I do. I remember that.
Yeah, it wasn't a great joke. He's actually quite funny, but that was probably one of his weakest. Right? So you're the MP3. No, it's MVP. Yeah, I know, we get it. So yeah, tell me, LeBron James, you says?
Yeah, LeBron James, I say, because it's the first time he's been on, I know people say his team last year wasn't that good and he didn't have much help. Compared to the Warriors, that's definitely true, but this is his first time being on a team where, there isn't another all-star on the team. Kevin Love at least was an all-star last year. He has nobody else who's in that conversation. I don't think Kuzma has a chance of making the all-star team or KCP.
Mm-hmm.
And if they get to 50 wins or more, I think he deserves the MVP. I think he's still the best player in basketball. Kevin Durant's close.
Correct.
I don't know. Maybe Kevin Durant's better, but either way, Kevin Durant's on a team with 4 other superstars. So,
who was MVP last year again?
James Harden.
Harden was MVP last year. Okay.
Yeah.
Who was Finals MVP?
Kevin Durant.
Yeah. I think Kevin Durant is a crazy basketball player.
I think he might be better than LeBron, but I don't think he can prove it on that team. I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's too much good.
It's
everyone's
weird. 10 years ago, it was usually the best player on the best team who won MVP. That's how it was usually decided. Nowadays, it's just the best individual player. Westbrook's winning it when he's a 7 seed or 8 seed. Harden obviously was the first, had the best record in the league, but I don't think that's why he won it. I think he's been playing really impressively for the last couple of years. I think he deserved it when Westbrook won it, to be honest. I just talked like Scooby-Doo.
Oh no, that's not Scooby-Doo impression. I'm not going to try. Westbrook didn't deserve.
Well, he had a great season, but I think Harden had a better season 2 years ago. But
so
I feel like Harden winning last year was somewhat backlash for just not winning the year before. I think a lot of people complained then. The triple double thing, it was you could see sometimes Steven Adams leaving him rebounds.
Yeah, it was are we talking about Westbrook?
Westbrook 2 years ago. He also had a triple-double last
But yeah,
year.
like always watching Westbrook, it's kind of like he's one of those players that's so competitive, he's willing to almost say, guys, help me get triple-doubles and things like that, which, he's an amazing athlete for sure.
Oh, yeah, I think he's the second best point guard in the world, and I'm a Boston fan.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I would just say maybe his biggest weakness is like his team. He doesn't seem like the best team player. But so MVP, Steven this year says LBJ, the king himself. Jeff, you want to weigh in on this one there, Jeff?
I'll say Anthony Davis.
Yeah?
Gonna go off the board a little bit.
Okay, I like it. Please talk about this more.
Well, he's the only good player on his team. He was potentially a candidate last year.
I think he deserved the MVP. The
After
first
Cousins
one,
got hurt, he was
this
really
first
good.
one, Stephen Curry won. Yeah, you're right, Bill. Sorry, interrupted.
You know, he seems like a really nice dude too. I know that isn't really part of MVP.
Yeah,
But Anthony Davis just seems like the coolest. Like out of all, maybe that should be a question. Who would you hang out with out of any basketball player right now? Who would you rather go for a beer with?
I like your Davis answer, but I'll have to think of my own. Maybe
Think of your
Giannis. Like Giannis just seems like Joel Embiid for sure.
Yeah,
He's just a funny guy.
He does seem like a funny guy. See, I feel like Giannis, you'd be hanging out with him, and he would go to grab his beer, and he'd accidentally like knock you over because his arms are just so dang long. Not because Joel Embiid.
I don't know that Anthony Davis's arms are much shorter, Joel.
Yeah, that's true. Going back to Kawhi Leonard, hand to body ratio, quite large hands.
That's true.
Has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Have you
Just
seen
wanna
that arm
shout out
wrestler
to
guy?
Kawhi Leonard again. I have seen him. I forget his name. If you haven't seen this, look up
Just
YouTube.
arm wrestling, big
Giant hands. And he looks like Wreck-It Ralph. He's like a cartoon character in real life.
Remember that ludicrous video? Get back, you don't know me like that.
It's like that in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah. This guy inspired the video, I think. So Davis, MVP this year. Oh, I want to ask you the question we just off the dome there. Who would you like to hang out with? Who would you? And let's not even go NBA. Let's go like basketball players. Could be me, Jeff. You could say you want to go for a beer with me.
Oh, is it all time?
Steve Nash would be cool.
Yeah, let's do. I'll let you retake that answer if you'd like to, because I think you
I'm
probably
still
would.
going with JoJo, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. He does seem like he'd be fun to hang out with. Steve Nash, really?
Why not? Seems like
There's no reason why not, man. No reason. I can't hate on that.
Jose Calderon seems pretty cool too.
Does he?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know though. Steve Nash and Calderon. You'd like
You sound pretty Canadian right now.
just. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
What would you and Steve Nash do? What would be the on the docket?
We'd probably go watch a hockey game, maybe.
Yeah,
If we're
where?
Canadian.
Vancouver.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. Sticking with the Canadian theme. Have some maple syrup.
Yeah.
Wear your toques. What else do Canadians do? Igloo? Cool. I'm going to say all time. Who would I like to? Oh, I already answered that. Kind of.
You said Davis, but that wasn't all time.
True. So I'm going to say him for sure for now because he just seems like such a nice dude.
I think Durant's a nice guy. Like he got like
Durant
bad
seems like a
rap
nice
since
guy.
then.
Oh, I think Durant's a nice guy. Yeah. I wouldn't hate on him just because he went to a team that he wanted to win a
A lot of people
championship.
would.
No, well, a lot of people do a lot of things.
Yeah, that's true.
All time though. Phew.
Russell.
Phew.
Or Russell. Russell seems
Bill
like
Russell?
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, he seems like a pretty chill dude. Yeah, I don't know. You know what? And after all that, like as a kid, I would have said Michael Jordan, like no question, just based on like all the hype and everything else and Space Jam and
He's the
But-
most iconic figure, at least.
for sure. But to go for a beer, I don't know. I think he's so competitive. He'd probably, bet me money that he could beat me in a chugging contest, and he would because I have acid reflux.
Yeah, that would be bad.
So if you're listening, Michael Jordan,
Don't ask me out for a beer.
don't ask me out for a beer. I won't go because I have bad acid reflux. So, what did I answer then? Did I give an answer?
You didn't really give an answer.
Yeah, I didn't give an all-time answer. I said Anthony Davis for now. I don't know. Let me think about that and get back to me.
All right, yeah, you'll say later in the show, but I wanted to respond to Jeff's Anthony Davis MVP prediction. I think that's a great prediction. He's like, I agreed last year. He had a great season. I think he was the runner-up. Mm-hmm. But I also think he deserved the MVP in the first year Curry won it. Was that, must have been 14 or was it 15?
Should we talk to our...
It must have been 15, actually.
Should we talk to the comp?
Because, yeah, we could talk to the comm.
You do it.
Because it would have been Harden, Westbrook, then 2 Currys.
2 Currys.
Computer, who won the MVP in 2015 in NBA? I asked that in a bad order.
Yeah, I don't know that computer's going to see.
James Harden from the Houston Rockets.
That's
won
last
the
year, it's confused.
2017.
NBA MVP
Oh, Steven
award.
confused the computer. No, now you're looking it up?
I think it was 2015, the first one he won, then 16, and then since then it's Westbrook and then Harden. Still, that makes sense. But yeah, so 14-15, I think Anthony Davis deserved the MVP that year.
But it was Curry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the second one, Curry obviously had an amazing season, deserved it. But the first one, Davis had like a much higher player efficiency rating. He was fairly healthy. If I remember, he played about 70 games. That was the year where he had that the game against the Warriors where he made that huge buzzer beater from 3. And like that basically got them into the playoffs by the end of the season in the 8 seed. They ended up getting swept by the Warriors, but just individually, it was crazy that he brought that team even into the playoffs. So I think that year,
And he's a super cool dude.
yeah, and like he just had a like great season all year. I think he definitely deserved the MVP that year. I think they were just going with that like best player on the best team format. They weren't really paying attention to who was playing the best. But
Correct.
yeah, and it'd be great if he has another year like that and wins MVP this year. I think
Probably LeBron. You said LeBron.
I just think narrative wise, they probably want like LeBron's on a new team. He's going to lead them. They probably wanted to win his final MVP just because he's been in the league like 15 years. Probably his window is eventually going to close. I think the voters will want him to win.
Sure, yeah. Okay, so...
Did you make a pick for MVP?
No. I'm going to say Durant because I think... I think he's such a crazy, all-around, amazing basketball player. And yeah, he is on a team where you could argue that
They'd be a great team without him.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, there was a lot of games I watched last year where they'd be, struggling, they'd be behind or whatever, and Durant would do a couple things and they'd be up. I mean, obviously there's a few players on the team that do make plays like that, but I don't know, like he's such an atypical player too, like body type, his ability to shoot from basically anywhere. He's got great basket awareness. He's athletic but doesn't look athletic, which I think is kind of fun to watch.
He looks like a defensive player now on the Warriors too. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's picked that up as well. Like he's become. Was he not maybe I don't know, early in the year or something? He had like the most. At least maybe there was a game I was watching.
He was
where
up
he had
there
the most blocks.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was ever the most like above Gobert and Davis, but
right.
And he gets some steals. Like he's always like a chase down threat, like LeBron too.
Yeah, he's just.
You always have to know where he is on defense. Like he's not like I think their leader on defense is still Draymond, but.
And let's remember, even if he does win MVP, the real MVP will be his mom, always.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he had, like, best MVP speech this decade.
Yeah, so you gotta... You know what? Maybe we should weigh in on, that, too. Like, who do you want to win the MVP so you can hear them talk? Not that we don't hear...
Joel Embiid.
Joel Embiid, okay. What's your... do you just think he'd be... Like, he's just a fun dude? He's
Yeah, I
funny?
just, like, I kind of like his, like, kind of trolling nature. Like, a lot of people take it too seriously, and he really doesn't. He's just a fun guy. Like,
yeah.
Some people kind of resent that, but I think it's good. I don't know.
He did do a hook shot from 3. Did you see that?
I seem to remember something like that.
Mm-hmm. Didn't make it.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Sorry,
I think it was on Shaqtin.
Yeah, I think it was on Shaq Fool. So, kind of shifting gears here. We talked a little bit about MVP. Talked a little bit about teams in the NBA this year. For anyone who plays a little bit, does some video gaming, and also is into basketball, there's kind of on the PlayStation. Well, I think in gaming in general, there's like one dominant game that always comes out.
Yeah, I mean, people still get. I think Live is. Some people are saying it's better, but 2K's kind of dominated the market the last few years anyway.
Mm-hmm. So.
Live just got WNBA, which, like, I don't know if you guys are into. I think it'd be interesting just to even have more teams.
I'd be curious, yeah, to check it out. What do you think, Jeff?
Yeah.
Your responses are like on a delay.
I'm always excited for the new games. It kind of like is how I learn about the rosters a little more. Like, I generally know what trades happen in the off season, but like when you see it every day playing the video game, or I don't know if I play it every day, but
oh, jeez.
But yeah, like it's a fun way to be like, hey, Leonard's actually on the Raptors. I know you can download a roster for the last year game, but
yeah. So that game just came out. When did that come out there, Steven?
7th maybe.
Yeah, and we've played it a couple times. Steven and I have. I don't know, Jeff. Have you played it yet?
Nope.
We'll probably play it here. Actually, we could even like throw it on while we're doing it, but probably not a good idea.
Yeah.
We'll play it here in a bit. We'll do maybe Jeff can talk about that next time we do a podcast. What are we doing? This weekly, bi-weekly? What are we doing?
we'd probably want to do weekly. Maybe this one will take a little, like, we want to get this one out before the season starts, and maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as when the season's going on, I think every week would be nice. Like, we might have to take a couple weeks off if people are out and about.
Really not liking it.
Or busy, I meant.
Oh, okay.
People are going to like it.
That's true, yeah.
We're kind of scattered right now. We're going to have a better plan.
Yeah, well, we were going to put, I think you mentioned this earlier, timers on our segments so that we don't go on and on about things and keep it a little more organized.
We didn't, find software for that beforehand.
Right.
We just got here.
Yeah, but, I did download some sound effects.
Yeah.
So, anyway, the game. So, yeah, I think it seems like, we won't talk about this long because it's related, obviously, to NBA, but it's not exactly, it's like, it's not the real world video games, Stephen. They're not real.
Yeah, I kind of like it. They had this last year too, but they do all-time teams on 2K now.
Yeah.
So you can just play as all your favorite players.
That is fun.
History for your team. Mm-hmm. I did notice the only players with 99 overall in
Michael
the all-time
Jordan
teams were Michael Jordan, LeBron James.
Who was the
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and
Right.
Magic Johnson, who I think are clearly the four best players ever.
Mm-hmm.
But
What about Wilt Chamberlain?
Wilt Chamberlain was 98.
Boys, oh boys, and so was Larry Bird was 98, I think.
Larry Bird was 98. So was Russell. So was Kobe.
Yeah.
But I think that's about right. But it's notable. Some people think Kobe's really good.
You're not
I'm a Boston fan, but
yeah, not a huge Kobe.
I
fan.
don't think he's bad. I think he's one of the
Overrated.
better players.
You
of
thought
his
he was
generation.
overrated?
Yeah, I don't know if he was ever the best player in the league.
Right.
I think
He's probably the most hyped.
I think Garnett was better than him in the early years, and then LeBron James, when Garnett kind of fell off, became better than Kobe.
So back to the game though. So I guess they've improved a little bit. Graphics seem a little better, maybe. Gameplay seemed like when we were playing, it seemed like everyone moved a little slower, but maybe that's better.
Yeah, it seemed more difficult to control them. I was going out of bounds a lot, and you can't pass through players anymore. Before you could pretty much just make any pass cross court, and now it seems to be intercepted a lot more. Which, I think it's good.
And overall, players look like players and everything else.
Yeah, Westbrook looked weird, but everybody else looked like players.
Every once in a while, and then they'll cut to a close up of somebody, and you just see the dead eyes. They haven't gotten that right yet. It's a little scary. But no, overall, it's a fun game. I've always enjoyed the NBA 2K games, and they'll just keep making bank on those because they're kind of the main game for people who are into gaming and playing NBA
I don't
games.
feel like they have to improve them that much, and then NBA fans will still buy it for the roster.
Well, yeah, and I think a lot of people, I've seen complaints online of people saying, you guys got to fix the story mode, and they keep trying to do these
I don't
lame
like
stories.
Mode. I don't. Some people might be I think it's a gamer thing to like a story, but sports gamers, I think, just want to play the sport.
Absolutely. You know what we didn't talk about much? We didn't really talk much about Kawhi going to the Raptors. We just kind of talked about the East, but
do you think the trade was good, type of thing?
Yeah, exactly. Was this a smart move? Jeff, you want to start the Heat?
Well, they had to do something because they weren't going anywhere the last few years. So,
So good move then.
I don't know. Neutral good. Not a great move, but I don't think he's going to re-sign with them. But
right.
I think if he does re-sign with them, then it makes it a great move. But
sure.
Even if he doesn't, they, like you said, they needed to rebuild. I think it was a good move to even get rid of the salary. It's sad because he's literally the most loyal Raptor in the team's history.
It is sad, yeah.
DeRozan, I mean. He was there for, 6-7 years? Mm-hmm. Maybe more than that. I think 7, maybe. Either way, it's longer than anybody else. I think Amir Johnson's probably the second longest tenured Raptor, and he's not really the player that DeRozan was.
Right, yeah.
I don't think they were going to win a championship with him as their best player, but it kind of sucks that, players get, Kevin Durant still gets flack for not showing loyalty, but teams don't have to.
At the end of the day, it is a business. They're making tons of money, and,
Oh, yeah, I don't think it's, should be criminal or anything, but I'm just saying that,
shouldn't go to jail for trading DeRozan.
But the worst move they made was firing Casey.
You think?
He's the best coach.
Yeah, we should have. That wasn't on our list to talk about, but yeah, we should talk about that.
Coach of the year and got fired.
I can't deny, though, that when I would watch the Raptors, I would get frustrated sometimes because it seemed like if they weren't winning, he would just, tussle the roster around again. He'd be like, oh, well, let's try this person at this position and this person. And sometimes I would think just, trust your players to do their job. Even if they don't win a couple games, that's okay in the regular season. Just let them gel together. I don't know. What do you think?
What's the question?
I don't think they have a very coachable team. They don't have a lot of shooters. They can't really pass around the court and get the most open shot. They kind of had to play iso ball at the end of the game because
when they were down.
Yeah, they got CJ Miles last year is a good shooter, but like they don't have like they're not like at the Rockets where they play through Harden, but they have so many people who can just make a shot every time.
Mm-hmm. So, but Casey,
I don't think it was Casey's fault. I'm just saying I don't know if the team's offense is that coachable.
Looks like Drew Carey.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit like Drew Carey. So at least if they have to get into a pinch where they need to figure out the price of something, they should have that figured out. That
yeah, Popovich is kind of looking a bit like Bob Barker nowadays.
Is that just an age thing?
Yeah, it's just an age thing. Sorry.
You know, it's funny. Popovich is almost. I wonder sometimes if he's more of. It's like the legend of Popovich is like greater than actual Popovich.
They're always good though, and like they did have a consistent like big three like Ginobili, Parker, and Duncan, who are all gone now. Like this is the first year where none of them are on the team, but they consistently were a good team. Like even last year, Leonard was out most of the year. They still seemed like a good team without him.
Fundamentals, man.
Like this is going to be their biggest test next year because they don't even have Leonard anymore. Like can he build a good team around DeRozan and like? Do you
think? I don't know. I can picture Popovich like. Because he's had good players and he's done a good job with them. So maybe he deserves all the hype.
He lucked out with like probably the best player of his generation, Tim Duncan.
Yeah, I can kind of picture him like coaching. I mean, this probably won't happen, but coaching a team that's not as good and just being ticked off on the bench all the time.
I don't think their team's that bad. Like if Aldridge is healthy,
yeah,
and DeJounte Murray, like I don't know, he doesn't seem like that great like at shooting, but he seems to be a good mismatch because he's kind of a taller point guard and. DeRozan's an all-star. Rudy Gay, if he's healthy, is a good player. Like, I don't think they have an awful team. Like, I think they could contend for an 8 seed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Pau Gasol.
Yeah, Pau Gasol, and they got Jakob Poeltl.
Let's not forget.
Like, I don't know.
And Poeltl, yeah, he played. You know, he was kind of fun to watch sometimes with the Raptors. Like, he seemed to be a lot quicker and more athletic than he appeared to be. Like, so he was kind of good at, you know.
Yeah, I like the Leonard trade. I think their players, they're only getting older. They're going to have to rebuild anyway. If he leaves, it starts out the rebuild. Like,
excuse the mic sound for a second.
They get a year of just having a player who can potentially get them to a championship. Like, not a huge chance, but they have the best player in the East if he's healthy.
Yeah. Like, could be exciting. Could be an exciting year. Might not last long, but hey, go out with a bang. Summary. That's my summary of that. And I hope you like it, Stephen. Do you like it?
Yeah.
Okay, so Westbrook, is he going to be the same? Knee surgery?
I think it's just like a routine thing. I don't even know what the surgery was. The headline came out today, so I just wrote it down, but I haven't actually looked up exactly what's going on. I don't think
he might miss the first few games or something.
Yeah, I think they were saying he might miss Summer League. Like I don't know if he was even going to miss a game. I just think a player like that who relies so much on his athleticism has a shorter window of a career.
And we were talking about that earlier because the news came out that Isaiah Thomas said he was the best point guard in the league.
Yeah, like when you rely that much on your athleticism, or if you're like a shorter player like Thomas, like when you're in your mid-30s, you're usually done just unless you do build more to your game. Because like Westbrook still can't really shoot.
Right. Yeah.
Like he makes some open ones, but
just so
like
athletic.
I think he's eventually going to have a decline where he's not the fastest, strongest player in the NBA anymore.
Right.
Like I think he's probably one of the best athletes of all time as far as just like how strong he is, how quick he is, how.
Because we were also talking about Dwayne Wade, kind of similar. Like when point guards. Well, Dwayne Wade's a shooting guard, but we were talking about Rose. That's it, Derrick Rose. Because for a long time the point guards were kind of the least athletic players on the team, and all of a sudden Derrick Rose and some of these other players. Harden doesn't look athletic, but he actually is.
Yeah.
Just these explosive point guards.
That didn't really used to be a thing. Like,
but then Rose is a good example of someone who was injured quickly, and his career's never been the same.
Right. Yeah, like you look at Rose or Wade land, and they're like back in the day. Like I used to watch Wade, and it was like he'd always get the ball in the basket somehow, but he'd be like flailing and falling, and I'm like. What is that?
Putting his body kind of at risk to make the basket.
Like I still think he should probably go and like try to still be in the NBA because like he got an overseas offer and like people are wondering whether he's going to go overseas or like go back to the Heat for a low contract. Like I still think he can give worthwhile minutes to the NBA. Maybe it's just like a thing where he doesn't want to be not the star on his team, but
ego, man. Poor old Chris Bosh. Speaking of Miami.
Yeah, he still thinks he can come back.
Really? Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, like the doctors in Miami said they weren't going to let him because if he has a heart problem, obviously that's a big.
Well, yeah, you don't want to risk with that, but
Yeah.
that's kind of a at the end of the day, that became a little bit of a sad story there when LeBron and Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade went to Miami, and it was this super hyped up, and then now you look back and Bosh has had this lung thing, his heart thing or lung thing?
Blood clotting.
Yeah, and Dwayne Wade, I don't know. I guess time changes things. Nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, I mean that was
Getting
15
deep.
years ago they were
Getting
drafted, so
Yeah,
they all had great careers. I think they all deserve to be in the Hall of Fame.
mm-hmm.
Wade, without question, LeBron might be the best player, if not second.
Sure.
But I think Bosh also deserves to be in the Hall of Fame just for the role he played in those championships.
I think so. Yeah. He's he's a good guy too. I think he's a good guy.
I think he's a better player than Yao. He had a longer career than Yao.
Yao Ming, he'd be a fun guy to hang out with.
Hall of Fame is not just how good you are at basketball, I guess. It's fame.
Sure, yeah.
He's more famous than Bosh.
Well, and he kind of made basketball more international.
Yeah, no, I think it was.
Got to
great
give him
for the
props
league.
for that. And he did seem like a nice guy. Remember him getting blocked by, was it Nate Robinson?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh yeah.
I mean, so did.
But he blocked everyone.
LeBron James blocked him in the play, or he blocked LeBron James in the playoffs.
Yeah.
When he was on the Bulls. I think that might have been the year that Derrick Rose first got injured, and then I think.
I was going to say,
took over.
Nate Robinson, he's another example of one of those
lost
guys
the Sixers that
that
year.
kind of burned out quick because he was so reliant on his athleticism and
Yeah,
quickness.
he was crazy strong, but he was.
And you got to remember too,
10 or
that
something.
these guys are playing in a league on the same court with guys that are, 100 pounds more than them, that are,
Westbrook
no, but like a foot taller or whatever, and it's a dangerous sport for those guys because their height is around the elbow height of a lot of these centers, so if they're swinging elbows. I mean, Westbrook got a hole in his cheekbone, I think, at one point.
Yeah, I think that was a teammate Needham, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to spread fake news, but anyway. He's a tough guy, though. He kept playing after that, didn't he? He touched his face and was like, oh.
I think he might have missed one game.
I feel like I would have been running off the court going, there's a hole in my face. Like, what does this mean for my life? Anyway, so there you go. There you go.
But yeah, I think the knee surgery is just like a precautionary thing. They want to get it done before the season so it doesn't get worse. I don't think it's a...
Did you look up? Did it have details?
I think it was saying something like that. It was just saying that he might miss the first few games of the season, but I think they were just worried like knee surgery might lead to more knee problems. I think that's more the worry.
Gotcha. So you think he'll be fine?
Yeah, I think so. I think if he misses time, I think that may be even good for Paul George's role in the team. Like maybe he'll be able to
PG-13
and like maybe get some of his Pacers confidence back. Like he didn't have a bad year last year, but he didn't look like the Pacers guy.
Right. Well, he had a pretty intense injury too that he had to come back from. So I think sometimes, I don't know, I feel like mentally you'd never have the same confidence after an injury.
Well,
like
Hayward, big story.
Oh, yeah.
Even Irving to a lesser extent.
Yeah.
Hayward, though, hasn't played basketball in over a year.
So that'll be interesting to see.
He was a good player before. I mean, he wasn't like a top 10 guy, but
good though, yeah, for sure.
Like an all-star player, and like apparently he's 100% healed, but like after a pretty scary injury himself.
We have someone here at the table with us who suffered a knee injury, and I know when I play basketball with you now, Geoff, you're always like, I got to take it easy. What do you think? Do you ever recover from the mental side of an injury?
I don't think so.
So you're always kind of in the back of your
If you
mind.
have a serious injury, you're always thinking about like that.
Yeah, it never changes. That never. Sports psychology, maybe you go to someone that says, can you deal with it?
Even losing the year of practice, I think that's a huge impact.
But I'm talking like mentally though.
Yeah.
Like even if you could physically get back to exactly where you were.
Derrick Rose
before.
never healed mentally.
Yeah.
Like he seemed more hesitant to. Like I think he had most of his athleticism back, but he seemed more hesitant to like do the types of plays he did before. And I don't know if that's a bad thing for him.
Well, I think self-protection is not a bad thing long term, but when you're a pro athlete, it's tough because the coaches are going, "Wait, this guy used to."
But then again, Joel
go
Embiid,
hard to the hoop,
he lost 3 years of professional basketball and came back and still looks like one of the best centers.
What about him for MVP? Would that ever happen? Do you think?
Ever? Yes. Next year, no.
You don't think? Not ready. How old is he? He's still quite young, isn't he?
I'd say about 22. I'm not really sure. Do you
Steven,
want to ask the computer?
Yeah, Steven versus computer. Computer. How old is Joel Embiid?
I'll say 24, actually.
Joel Embiid is 24 years old.
Oh, Steven got it first.
March 16th, 1994.
Thanks, computer. So that looks like Steven won that round against computer.
Yeah, but
24 years old.
Remember, he missed his first 2 years of playing, and this is now his second year, so I thought that made sense.
Yes. Yeah.
And missed most of his year at what college did they play for him in Wiggins, Jeff?
Isn't it Kansas?
Yeah, Kansas. You're right.
I like him. His name's Joel.
Well, it's Joel.
How come all? Well, whatever. I get called Joel all the time. It's spelled the same. Steven, how do you feel having the same name as almost all the best shooters? How come all good shooters are usually named Steve?
I'm not sure. I think it's
Or
also
Stefan.
it's also like the most common billionaire name too.
Yeah. What's the deal with that?
I don't know.
Are you working on that, the billionaire thing, and the shooting as well?
I don't think I'm too close in either. I mean, I'll sometimes take some jump shots, and I'll make a few. I don't think.
Jeff. I'm thinking of Jeff's. Was it Jeff Hornacek?
Yeah, that was JEFF. Jeff's a GEO.
Are there any GEOFFs?
I don't know if there's been a GEOFF in the league.
Jeff Petrie?
You can't just make names up, Jeff. Is that a person?
He played for the Blazers in the
We're looking him up.
early 80s, I think.
Jeff Petrie.
Or 70s, I guess.
Looks like you'd looked him up already one time.
You must have looked for Jeff's league. I'm sorry,
Jeff. Did you look him up before?
Like, I'm a basketball buff, but
I like it.
This is a
Look
good
at this.
player. Like, I don't know.
He
I
played
haven't
for
heard
Portland.
of this guy. He got
70 to 76.
21 points a
He
game
got
in his
50
career.
points a game one time.
Wow.
Oh, really?
All right. And he was
I
an
mean,
all-star.
So did T. Ross.
Show me his photo again.
Looks like a recent photo.
Oh my God,
Just
Jeff,
in
it's
a
you
chair.
from the past, from the future. I almost said. Oh God. Oh, that's him in 2009. He's on a chair. What's he doing? Inducted? Is that his induction or something to the? And he's sitting in front of a Kings logo. But didn't he play for Portland his whole career?
So he won Executive of the Year. He might be.
What the heck is that?
With the
Oh,
Kings,
an executive for the team. Okay,
Yeah.
Sorry. I thought like that was while he was
He's
playing in the
president
NBA.
of basketball operations. So he's like the GM of a certain team at some point.
All right. Well, shout out to
Team president of
GEOFF Petrie
Sacramento Kings. Yeah.
from our GEOFF here.
He's not the GM because that's Vlade, but
He looks like Coach Bombay in that photo. No, he doesn't really. I just wanted to do a Bombay shout out. All right, well, we're getting close to the end here. We've been talking here for a little while. We decided there's two things we're going to do before we finish off. And
we could talk about Bynum really quick. Like I don't know.
oh,
if
yes.
any of you guys
We skipped
realistically
that.
think,
We skipped that.
So Bynum released a workout video. If you're big basketball fans, I assume you would have set.
Oh, gosh. Should we restart that one?
No.
You would have saw it. You would have seen it if you're a Bynum fan.
Yeah. So, do you think realistically a team would give him a minimum contract somewhere? They tried that a couple years ago. Like I think after the it was just as soon as he got traded to the Sixers, he was injured. I think he didn't actually.
I don't know.
play.
I don't know. Honestly, like, oh, that didn't help
So
the moment
it was
at all.
2011-12, I think, that he was traded for the best center in the league. He was arguably the second best center in the league at the time, and he just hasn't played
2012.
since. It was
You're
12
saying?
that.
So 6
It was
years
12
ago.
that
Or 7
Howard
almost.
was on the Lakers, so like
Right.
2011 would have been.
So yeah, the video's out. He's shooting in the video. He's shooting threes and making them. But the argument is you're not seeing in what context.
You're not seeing
like,
his misses. Like
yeah,
Paul Pierce was on.
Yeah,
whatever show Paul Pierce was on. Sorry,
Yeah.
ESPN maybe. Making fun of him, and then he put out like his joke. Video.
He was going to re-enter the NBA because actually in an interview, well, he was talking about Bynum and he said, "Well, I have a better chance of coming back than he does." And then they did this kind of joke video of him training to get back to the NBA. And I honestly think Bynum, like based on the videos, has a better chance because he looks like he's in better shape. No offense. Obviously, Paul Pierce, is enjoying.
Yeah,
his hamburger.
Joel's a Raptors fan, so he probably doesn't like Paul Pierce already.
No, you know what? That year when he torched him, I thought the fact that it was bad karma when they started before they even played them. They said Raptors versus the Dinosaurs, and
I call game.
and all Paulie boy was like, you know what? I may be, aging, and I may never have looked athletic, but he was one of those guys with swag. You can't argue that.
Yeah.
Paul Pierce had some swag. Jeff just left. But he's getting something ready because we are going to do this here in a bit. We're going to do some repeating segments on this show. We're going to have some stuff. Did we even mention the name of the show?
Yeah.
We did. Okay.
But yeah, as far as the Bynum thing, I think a team
yeah.
should give him a minimum contract
You
just
think?
to try
Okay.
him out. Like a lot of people argue, like, oh, he can't shoot threes. He's just a center. Obviously work him out first, see if he can run. But like it's still in some matchups makes sense to have a big body. If it's a minimum contract, it's worth the risk.
Sure.
Like even if you just assign him to a G League team, if he's willing to play there.
I'd like to see it. I like to see the effort rewarded, you know?
Yeah, he was the second best center in the league at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Or top 5 anyway. I don't know. Like I'd have to go back and look.
Well, and honestly, age is, at the end of the day, like someone like LeBron kind of shows that you can be an older player and still play with the athleticism higher than some of the younger players because he's just so, so really, like, regardless of your age, Bynum or anyone.
Bynum's 31. He was the youngest player of all time, though. He was like...
Of all time.
Yeah.
All time. So, if he's physically there, he's a decent basketball player, like, give him a shot, guys.
Because, like,
if you're listening, give him a shot.
Was it the Heat that tried Greg Oden? Like, they tried to help him with a comeback, and he didn't actually end up, like, working out. But, like, if it's a minimum contract, that does nothing to the team's salary. So, a team that can afford to just give a 1-year minimum contract, I think they should. Like,
we'll see it.
But I don't think he will necessarily be close to the player he was, but it doesn't hurt to give it a try if he could use a center.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. So one of the segments that we're going to do is kind of I don't know, we'll probably change the questions every time, but a bit of a lightning round here. We had decided that we were all going to answer the questions together. I don't know if that would work. Maybe I'll just ask them and then you guys both answer. I'll run the questions. And we're going to go quick. I'm going to go to you first, Steven.
All right.
Okay. So this is our lightning round. Maybe eventually we'll have like a little music that plays or like a timer. Or maybe I'll add music in.
Just one answer? Like,
we got just quick answer off the top of the dome. Just figure it out, man. Just say it. Okay? So here we go. Steven, the lightning round. Steven and the lightning round. Steven, favorite current player?
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Favorite current team?
Boston Celtics.
All-time best team?
Warriors this year.
Really? Okay. All-time favorite player?
Kevin Garnett.
Well, okay. Most excited for this season?
Just seeing the Celtics hopefully all healthy and how good they are with them all there.
Best dessert?
Peanut butter balls.
Okay. Good job, Steven. I feel like we got to know you a little better there.
That's his desert, not dessert, by the way.
Oh, sorry. Best desert?
Sahara.
Okay. I like it. So it's Jeff's turn, lightning round. You're looking at the questions already, even though they're the same questions.
I was trying to avoid looking at the questions. They are written on.
Yeah, well, and honestly, I feel like we need to come up with a better idea for the lightning round, like maybe different questions for each person.
Oh, yeah, because you'll know them.
Yeah, but this is just to get to know everyone. And then maybe someone can ask me, and we'll figure this out. So, ready, Jeff?
Okay.
And we've got 30 seconds on the clock. We're not actually using our clock. Jeff, favorite current player?
Fred VanVleet.
Favorite current team?
Raptors.
All-time best team?
Warriors from last year or a couple years ago.
Doesn't matter.
The last few years.
All-time favorite... Stop looking. All-time favorite player?
Vince Carter when he was on the Raptors.
Okay. Most excited for this season?
Team or player? Or
just answer the dang question, man. You got 4 seconds left.
Raptors.
Best desert?
Gobi.
Okay. All right. Good answer.
Going with Africa.
And I'm gonna best dessert as well, because I want to know this about you for your birthday coming up here soon.
Strawberry shortcake.
Strawberry shortcake. Okay, I like it. Who's gonna ask me? Who's asking?
I'll ask you. I
Okay.
was just looking up some measurements, but
okay, getting a new suit.
Yeah. Favorite current player?
Durant.
Favorite current team?
Raptors.
All-time best team?
Chicago Bulls 90 something.
What's the year they had 70 wins, Jeff? 95, 96? Yeah.
There you go.
All-time favorite player?
Gotta say Michael Jordan. I'm sorry, I do.
Cliched.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, he was an exciting player to watch. I'd assume I'm too young.
You jerk.
I saw him on the Wizards. Anyway, I'm most excited for this season.
Seeing Kawhi Leonard play for the Raptors.
Best desert or dessert?
I'm gonna say, well, it's got to be both. I'm gonna go with the Sahara.
What, you just... Oh, sorry, I'm not supposed to comment. It's a lightning round, sorry.
Oh, I stole yours?
No, don't worry about it.
Okay, what's the next?
Dessert.
Dessert? Apple pie with some ice cream.
Best dressed basketball player?
Can I go with Westbrook from that time he wore the stuff? Or Iverson when he...
I tried to whisper hard to you, but I whispered into the mic,
Harden?
so I probably picked up.
Best dress? I don't know. No, I'm gonna say Shaquille O'Neal from like the mid '90s when he wore like a giant suit.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he obviously wore a giant suit, but I mean even giant for him. So like it looked like he was wearing a parachute.
All right.
I'm gonna go with that.
You're gonna introduce this
Questions?
last little segment.
Oh, I thought you were gonna ask me more
Oh,
questions.
sorry.
No, I'm good. Yeah, okay, so the final segment to kind of outro this whole thing. Thanks for watching, by the way. Or you didn't watch. None of you watched. You listened. So thanks for listening to our first episode of The Peach Basket starring Stephen, Joel, and Geoff. We'll be back hopefully next week. Obviously, once the season starts, we'll have a lot more to talk about. So have a good time. Our last segment, we're going to outro with Geoff. This time, taking a shot. So we have a basketball net set up in here. Just a little basketball. How tall would you say that basketball net is? 4 feet? 3.5?
Check. I have a measurement machine.
He has a measurement machine. Some people call that a measuring tape.
Yeah.
But no, that's not what he's using. He has a laser. It's going to beep here in a second. Oh, I don't know if you heard that. What do you got?
It says 40 inches.
40 inches.
I don't know if you can hear me.
So this basketball net is 40 inches off the ground. It's a little tiny basketball net. And how far away is it where Jeff's going to be shooting? He's going to be shooting from behind the kitchen table. Did you measure that?
Yeah, I did. It was 255 inches, which is just over 21 feet.
Just over 21 feet.
Pretty far. It's like my apartment's not that large, but it's the very other side of the living room area, dining / living room.
What do you think your chances are, Geoff? Percentage-wise.
Eventually. I give him like
2% chance? 100%, he says.
He said 10.
Oh, 10.
Still, that's
see,
pretty
because Geoff
confident.
usually is confident. And the basketball is about palm size. What would you say? It's like a grapefruit size, but it's quite light. I don't know. You can hear him dribbling it. All right, Geoff. So can you check and make sure he's in the right spot? I don't want him to be cheating on us. We don't want that.
Behind the table?
Behind the table. Yeah. And this is so. We'll see you next week. Hear
Let's
you
call
next
it
week.
20 feet
No, you'll hear
because
us.
like he's not standing at the very wall where I was measuring.
20 feet. Okay. So tune in next week. We'll talk more basketball. Go for it, Geoff. Ah, it's a miss.
So, sort of close, but
Yeah, he was within.
we just get one try, Jeff.
No, only one try. We'll try again next week.
Well, one of the other ones. will try
We'll
next.
take turns trying, and whoever makes the first one, we haven't decided, but there's going to be some great celebration.
Yeah, we'll have to like buy ice cream for them, except for me because I don't eat ice cream.
All right, see you later.
Later.